Okay, good evening, everyone. You guys can hear me okay? Okay, very cool. So my name is Brad or Scott, whatever. I guess I'll answer to both tonight. So I am the BSA and Security Specialist for New Chipotle Bank. That is just a very, very fancy way of saying the fraud department. So title up there, How to Spot a Scam, Avoiding Scams and Fraud. So just jumping right in whatever scammers or fraudsters are looking for criminals, what do you think they want? What are they coming after you for? Simple enough. See how easy that was? Yeah, cool. Yeah, they want money. Everything that they do, everything they say to you, everything they do, all of it points to that goal. That is their purpose. What else do you think they're after? Very cool. Yep. Information. So whether it's your social security number, banking info, your passwords even, passwords are sacred. Never share your passwords with anyone. Anyone who says that it's okay to share your passwords is trying to deceive you. All right, so tonight we are going to talk about some scams and frauds. I would like to talk about something that is happening a lot in Pennsylvania. It's happening all over the country, even in Canada, but it is happening especially in Pennsylvania. We've been seeing a lot of this. So mail check fraud. How many of you are sending checks through the mail? See a few hands there? Okay, so your personal mailboxes, the blue post office mailboxes that you see on the street corners, bad guys are just straight up taking the mail right out of them. They're taking them out, they're cracking them open, picking the lock. Somehow they're getting in there, taking your mail, taking the checks out of them. And they're using them for fraudulent purposes. Through the power of chemistry, they can remove the ink that you write on these checks. So anything you see in red here is something that Mr. Bad Guy erased and put instead. So they can put their name in there, they can change the amount they want, they can keep your signature to make it look good, and they can defraud your bank account. Even if they don't have the ability to wash the ink off the check, they can still do damage. Look at that. They have the customer's name, address, they have the bank name and address, they have your routing number, they have your account number. So much damage can be done with that. Even if they can't wash the check, they can make fake checks using that information. They can either use it themselves, they can even just sell it on the black market. So maybe not in Pennsylvania, maybe off in Idaho. All of a sudden, there's a check drawn on your accounts. Someone's walking around with $1,000 in their pocket. So what to do about this? I do recommend that you find alternate ways to pay your bills besides sending checks through the mail. It is a lot safer to pay bills online as long as you keep your passwords secure, your computer virus stuff up to date. If you do still feel more comfortable sending checks through the mail, I do recommend don't use the mailboxes. They are not safe. They are out in the open. This is where the bad guys are looking for your checks. It's much better for you to take them inside the post office. That's the safest way if you are going to mail a check. Okay, so I do want Paxton here to come up, talk about some computer safety. Pretty sure he's a computer genius, so, listen to him.
All right, thank you, Scott. So, my name is Paxton. I'm from the New Chipotle Bank IT department. And the first thing I want to talk about is something I'm sure everybody uses, social media. Social media is a great tool to stay in contact with your friends, family members, relatives, whoever the case may be. But there are, unfortunately, some risks associated with social media. One of the first things to be aware of when you're using Facebook or Instagram or anything like that is to be careful what you share. Even something innocent, like answering a question about what kind of car was your first car, what was the color of your first car, can be used to break into your security questions, get into your account. The other thing, right along with that, is to make sure you adjust your profile privacy settings. So you want to make sure that only the people that really need to see what you're sharing are the people that you know are able to see it, not just random strangers that look you up online, get your name, and find your profile, try to track you. The last one, I'm sure you've heard this a million times, don't talk to strangers. This applies just as much on the internet, if not more on the internet, as in real life. Brad's going to talk a little bit more about romance scams here in a little bit, but romance scams are on the rise. A lot of them start from social media, so it's coming back to that be careful what you share, be careful who you add. If you don't know the person, maybe don't add them. And last, don't trust everything you see on the internet. Make sure you do independent research, look at verified sources, make sure everything that you're seeing, posted online really matches up to what the reality is. Email phishing. This is a fun one. Has anybody received a fraudulent, a fake, a scam email? Okay, all right, good. Well, not good, but I'm glad you all understand what I'm talking about. So phishing is prevalent. It's a huge threat to financial institutions, to every business, and to every person. So not all fake emails are obvious. The stereotypical fake email, you can tell the spelling errors and you can kind of identify that, yeah, this doesn't make much sense. Scammers are getting really good at disguising everything that they're doing. So they're getting really good at manipulating them using, artificial intelligence now is a big thing, that you can have them write out these emails in a matter of seconds with perfect grammar and everything looks legitimate. So the questions you want to ask yourself are, did I expect this email? Some of the most copied companies are places like Amazon, eBay, PayPal. Maybe you get an email that says, hey, you just purchased the new iPhone, we billed your account $1,000, call this phone number to cancel it or else it's being sent out today. Don't call the number. If you get those emails, you can call Amazon, but make sure you're calling Amazon using a verified phone number, not what's in the email, not responding to that email, not answering the phone and giving them any information. Reach out to Amazon's actual customer support number using a verified source on the internet. The next thing that kind of comes back to is, does the email make sense? Does it make sense that you would have had your Amazon account hacked and that they purchased an iPhone? It could happen, not likely. This is especially with things like PayPal and eBay that, you just bought, $1,000 worth of gold. Whatever the case may be skeptical of it. Was it received at an abnormal time of day? Was it something that, most, US companies do business within pretty much the same hours, given time zones and all that kind of stuff? Was it received at 2 in the morning? If it was, I'd be a little bit even more skeptical. Is it too good to be true? Did you win the lottery in Africa? If you did, probably don't respond. You got to take that gamble. I wouldn't respond. Is it really from who it claims to be from? So this is a tricky one. This is the hardest one to identify because scammers are really good at modifying emails to make it look legitimate. If you look at an email, you can look at the sender. Look at the domain. Did it come from Amazon.com or did it come from some manipulation of it? Instead of an O, it's a 0. Instead of an A, it's a 4. Be very skeptical of it. Keep a close eye on it. Make sure the timeline's up, the email address is legitimate. And if it is, I would reach out to Amazon using a verified phone number. And the last one, is the email generic? Can you tell that it was meant to come to you, or could it have gone to your neighbor just as easily, and it would still, generic greeting, generic signature, generic everything that, sincerely, if it's not tailored to you, it's probably a scam. Again, some of the most impersonated companies are Amazon, Microsoft, eBay, PayPal, McAfee. When in doubt, call the company using a real known phone number. And always with email phishing, stop, take a deep breath. They'll always ask you to act urgently. Don't act urgently. Call a family member. Call us at the bank. Call anybody. Just think it through, take your time. Computer pop-ups. I'm sure most people have seen a pop-up that might reference the IRS is after you, the CIA is after you, your computer's going to get shut down, your IP address has been hacked. A lot of big words that sound really scary. That's a scam too. When browsing the internet, the most important thing you can do is make sure you have an antivirus installed on your computer. There's a lot of really good antiviruses out there. I can't specifically recommend any. I use Bitdefender at home. There's Malware, there's McAfee. There's a lot of really good antiviruses out there that can block these kind of pop-ups. If you get a pop-up that claims to be Microsoft about your computer being infected, that claims to be McAfee trying to give you a refund, please don't click on anything they ask you to click on. please close out of it. If you can't get it to close, some of them have scary sounds and noises and won't go away. Power down your computer. Pull the plug out if you have to. Government agencies, believe it or not, do not use pop-up ads on computers to communicate to people. So never trust anything claiming to be the FBI, IRS, CIA, whatever the case may be. Ignore it. And most importantly, if you leave here tonight with one thing I told you, never, ever, 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 ever let anybody connect remotely into your computer. Never. If you get a refund offer that they need to connect to your computer so they can give you a refund, this happens every single day. Millions and billions of dollars are lost every year by people that allow somebody from the internet to connect to their computer to give them a refund or to fix a virus. It is always a scam, 100% of the time. There's not many things in the world that every single time is guaranteed to be a scam. This is guaranteed to be a scam. Malware and malicious apps. So I'm sure most people have smartphones. You have some fun apps on your phone, some games, social media. Be skeptical of any app that you download and the permissions it asks for. So if you're downloading, let's say, Candy Crush, but it wants access to your camera, or it wants access to your phone contacts or your call history, I'd probably find a different game to play, just out of policy. I wouldn't proceed with playing that game or downloading that app. There are apps where that makes sense. So Facebook, for example, would have access to your camera because that's how you post selfies. Games, probably not so much. Again, use a reputable antivirus. There's a lot of large names out there. Do some research, and you'll surely find one. Along with that, only install software from a known source. There's a lot of tempting things online that, oh, you can download this movie for free. You can view this. It just came out in theaters. You can view it today. It's a scam. You might be able to see the movie, but you're also probably going to get a virus on your computer. So it's one of those risk-reward things. Again, the software, only install it from a known source. So don't just find some random program on the internet. Make sure it's from a verified publisher, developer. If you use a Windows computer, when you go to install software, it'll pop up and say verified publisher. That's a good sign. It's not a guaranteed sign, but it's a good sign. We talked about the permissions for phone apps. And another thing for the antivirus, phones can get viruses too. It's a misconception that phones are completely safe from viruses. You can do whatever you want to do and no worries. It's not true. I would strongly recommend, if you have an antivirus platform on your computer, you can get one. Like personally, again, I use Bitdefender. I bought a bundle, so I'm able to have it installed on my phone, on my iPad, on anything I use, is all protected by the same antivirus software. And along with that, keep your phone and computer software up to date. It's most helpful if you just enable automatic upload or automatic updates. So your phone will just kind of handle it off hours when you're asleep. Your computer will do the same thing. Make sure you're keeping everything up to date, and important security patches come out every single month. Make sure you're getting those as they come out. And Scott, back to you.
Sorry, Darlene, that Scott joke is never going away. And rightfully so, it's hilarious. Okay, let's talk scams. So I was talking earlier about the check fraud. So there is an actual technical difference between fraud and scam. Fraud is when the bad guy just straight up steals from you without you even knowing. A scam is a little different. They actually make you do the crime. They convince you to give them money. They convince you to give them information. Too many times on my job, I have a bad day because I have to look a customer in the eye and say, you just fell for a scam, you gave a criminal your money, and we can't get it back. There's nothing we can do. It's happened too many times. It makes me sad. I get a bad feeling. It's one of the reasons that I want to come out here and talk to you guys. Whenever I have to tell them that, it's always the same reaction from that person. Can't believe I fell for that. Because why would you do that? Why would you give money to a stranger? Why would you give that information to a stranger? It's because they're really good at it. Again, these are career criminals. They know what they're doing, tried and true techniques that they do all day, every day. They aren't just criminals. They aren't just liars. They are master manipulators. They are very good at what they do. anyone who has been a victim of a scam, or if, God forbid, anyone becomes a victim of a scam, I want to tell you right now, if you become a victim of a scam, you are not stupid. You are not a fool. You are not weak. You are not pathetic. You do not need to be ashamed. There are a lot of people out there who have fallen for it. You were blindsided by someone who took advantage of you. I just want to put that out there. Let's talk about tactics that these scammers use. Every scam, past and present, are going to have three main tactics. They want you emotional, because if you're emotional, you can't think clearly. Critical thinking skills are not going to be ideal. So they want you emotional. They want you scared. They want you excited. They want you in love. Urgency. They want you to act quick, because if you act quick, you're not going to have time to think. And isolation. It's tough enough for them to trick one of you. If they have to trick you and their friend and your spouse and your neighbor, that's too much work for them. They'd rather just keep you isolated. No one else can get in their way. So I'm going to keep referring back to these three, so remember that. Emotion, urgency, isolation, as I talk about some of the common scams that are going around right now. First, grandparent scam. Any here grandparents? Yeah, a few hands? Okay. So maybe this has already happened or been attempted on you. Maybe this might come up, so pay attention. So this is a textbook scam. It's kind of an old one, an oldie but a goodie. This is basically how it works. You get a phone call from someone claiming or maybe even sounding like your grandchild. Hey, I need help. I'm in trouble. Some kind of emergency. I've been arrested. I've been in an accident. I've been kidnapped. Maybe I just lost my money. Maybe there's another person on the call claiming to be a lawyer or a cop or a doctor in the ER, whatever. But the point is, they have an emergency. They're in trouble. They need money now. And this is the just incredible genius of this scam. Please don't tell my parents. I don't want to get in trouble. Come on, be a pal, help me out. Our little secret. I don't like scams at all. It's my job to fight them, but I am just in awe of how genius this is. Because let's look at this. So, grandparent scam. The three tactics: emotion, family in danger. Hard to get more emotional than that. That's just a primal fear when a family member is in danger. Urgency, well, that's because they're emergency. Family members in danger, you're going to drop what you're doing and try to take care of them. Isolation, don't tell anyone. So instead of them telling you not to do that, they are actually, and again, very genius, they are convincing you that it is a good idea, that you're doing them a favor by not telling anyone. This is just the textbook version of the scam. There are other variations where it's not just the grandparent. It can be other family members. It can be friends. It can be coworkers. How to avoid that third tactic, isolation. Do not isolate. And I would say that not isolating, communicating to someone that you trust it's the silver bullet to any scam. Verify. Paxton talked a lot about verification. Independently verify. Just because someone who sounds like your grandkid is on the phone saying they need help doesn't necessarily mean it's them. With artificial intelligence now, they can fake voices. So, if you have a family member saying that they're in trouble, it's okay. Take the time. Again, I know urgency, but take the time to hang up, call that person back. Call it on a number that you know is their number. If you can't get a hold of them, call a family, call a friend, call a roommate, call a neighbor, someone that you trust, that you know is them, that you know can confirm whether or not it is that person. On a previous job, I had a colleague who sent me a Facebook message once. And I can't remember exactly how it went, but the gist of it was Brad, you won't believe this. I'm in Mexico and I just lost my wallet. You're going to have to please, 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 please wire me some money so I can fly home. I had no idea that he was in Mexico, and I was very confused, and I had a weird feeling, so I called him. And I said, hey, Roy, are you in Mexico right now? He goes, no, I'm in Quakertown. And that's basically how that works. Also, use code words. It's okay, do some James Bond stuff, some secret spy stuff, do that. So if that grandkid doesn't give you a code word, you know it's not them. I worked in retail for years. We had code words to make sure that we knew whether or not we were in trouble. We're all bankers. You better believe that we use code words with each other. It's common. It's smart. All right, let's talk about love here. Romance scams. This can get very heart-wrenching. So, whatever you think about romance scams, anyone can be a target. Doesn't matter how old, young you are, education, man, woman, anyone can be a target. It can happen on dating sites, and it very frequently does, but it can be really on any social media. That's where they are hunting for victims. Remember the second tactic, urgency? Scammers want to create a sense of urgency. Romance scams are a little different. They actually take a long time before they hit you. Basically, how it starts is someone out of the blue connects with you online. They seem to show immediate interest. They almost immediately are falling in love with you. And right away, they want to talk over another platform, not the safety of the dating website or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever social media I'm not cool enough to know the name of. They want to talk there because it's more private. And then it goes on for a while. You guys message every day for weeks or months. You're sharing messages, pictures, videos. Let me take a quick side note on that. You tell your children and your grandchildren about strangers, don't talk to strangers. This is the grown-up version of that. Whatever messages and pictures and videos you are sending to people, they keep them forever. They can use them against you. If it's a really bad picture or something that you don't want out there, they might be able to get some ransom money out from you. Or they might be able to create another fake profile with your information, your picture, your face, your messages, your information. So this scammer always promises to meet. There's always an excuse not to. I work on an oil rig, or I'm Habitat for Humanity, or Doctors Without Borders. Soldier is a very popular one. Soldiers overseas can't really come home to see you right now. And then all of a sudden, you guessed it, they ask for money. Some kind of emergency. Oh, my family is in trouble. Oh, I need to get bailed out of a foreign prison, or I need a new passport, or I need surgery. Again, it's always a distracting story. It's the distraction that matters to them, but they're asking for money. That's what you need to concentrate on. So if you send them money, no matter how you send it to them, the process is just going to repeat. Messages, photos, videos, ask for money, you give it to them. They ask for more money, you give it to them. Let's go back to those three tactics. Emotion. It's a romance scam, so obviously the emotion is love that they're trying to get you. Urgency. It may take a while, but eventually they're going to hit you. They're going to say, oops, something happened. You love me, so please give me money because you love me so much, and I need it so badly. Isolation. They want you off the platform. If you find out that they're a scammer later on, you can't go back to that platform to report them. They'll probably ask you to deactivate your account and send you proof that they have deactivated the account because they want to keep scanning other people on that same platform. So how do you avoid it? So let's, a couple things. Image reverse search. How many people know what that is? I see one hand, and it is the IT guy and the social media guy. Okay, so kind of technical, but not really. Basically, you ask the internet to find the fake profile picture. If I'm a bad guy, I'm doing a romance scam, I go online to find a picture of a handsome person or a pretty person. Doesn't matter where I find it, as long as I can use it and it's attractive and I think that it will help me to scam you, I'm going to use it. You can take that profile photo that I used and use the internet to find its source. You can find out the exact website where I got that from. Bam, you've just caught me. You have proven that I am a scammer. It's okay that you don't know this, by the way. It's still, people are still learning about it, but it's becoming more and more common to use this. If you don't know if you don't know how to use it, that's fine. Ask your family, ask your friends, ask your bank. Friend of a friend had a romance scam going on a couple of months ago. Took me 10 minutes to find the person through image reverse search. So reach out. Again, do not isolate. Use other people. Never send money to a stranger online. Never, ever, ever. Yes, you may be in love with them or just really good friends with them. You've never met them. They're still a stranger. Stranger danger. Cease all contact. As soon as you know it's a scam, whether it's this scam or any other scam, cease all contact. I'm going to be repeating this a lot, but that is the thing to do. Okay, so that's a couple of the types of scams that we're talking about. Let's talk about how they get the money. So, yes, sometimes they will ask for cash if it's a more localized scam. They will ask for wire transfers, payment apps. Those are very popular lately. Cryptocurrency is kind of trendy. So let's talk about my favorite, gift cards. My coworkers laugh at me when I talk about gift cards. That is because I am always talking about gift cards. I'm going to talk about gift cards hard at you right now, okay? And I have a very good reason for it, so bear with me. But first, I want to do a little bit of common knowledge here. So we all know what a gift card is, right? Piece of plastic, you take it to a store. It's basically a gift certificate or a coupon, right? You get money off. That's not a gift card, okay? I do not want you to think that's a gift card. It's the code on the back. That stuff there. That is what the scammer wants. Everything that they do, everything that they say, the purpose is to get you to purchase a gift card and give them that number. As soon as you give them that number, they have successfully robbed you. They have your money, you cannot get it back. You may look online and there are some websites that will say for gift card scams, they're like, oh, maybe if you get it, try to cancel the sale soon enough. I have never actually seen that happen. So I'm telling you right now, gift card scams, I have told too many people, it breaks my heart every time. They've lost hundreds of dollars in gift card scams. There's nothing that can be done. That being said, I actually really love gift cards. They make a great gift. I get them to people I know, not strangers. So, my family, my friends, coworkers. Secret Santa's coming up. I like getting gift cards. Anyone who knows me, give me a Barnes & Noble gift card, I'm happy. It means I can afford more than one book. So, who else loves scammers? Or who else loves gift cards? Scammers love gift cards. Absolutely love them. And why is that? So first of all, it's easy. Cash is a little tricky to convince people to hand over. Payment apps, not everyone uses. Cryptocurrency, not everyone understands. Gift cards, everyone understands. You know how they work. You go into a store, you buy it, you use it. They're immediate. Again, as soon as you give them that number, they have your money. Untraceable. Yeah. It can't be found. They're going to get away with it as soon as you get them that. So I just want to hammer in, and this is why I talk about gift cards so much, because if you learn nothing else from me tonight, it's that gift cards are not money. They are glorified coupons. They are gift certificates, okay? So whatever scammers are trying to tell you to convince you to go out and buy gift cards, just no, it is a scam 100% of the time. The IRS will never ask you to pay taxes with Olive Garden gift cards, okay? So it's a very easy equation. Stranger plus gift card equals scam. 100% of the time, no exceptions. And this is what I tell everyone at any given opportunity. You guys have just met me. The next time you met me, I'm probably going to talk about gift cards again. Phew. So everyone get that now? Okay. All right, cool. Now that is over, let's talk about gift cards some more. Okay, so you know, not buying them for strangers, right? But, you know, shopping season's coming up. So you go into a store, you want to buy a gift card for a family member, a friend, a neighbor, a coworker, someone you actually know. It's you know, this is a legitimate purchase, a legitimate gift. If I'm a scammer, I can still steal money from you without doing the usual, I'm an IRS agent, please give me Olive Garden gift cards. I'm going to go into the store. I'm going to take a gift card off the rack. I'm not going to buy it. I don't have to. I'm just going to take it off the rack, put it in my pocket, walk out of the store, go home. That little barcode, I'm going to make copies of that. I'm going to print them out on little stickers. I'm going to do a lot of stickers, actually. I'm going to go back into the store, and I'm going to put stickers on any single gift card on that rack that I can find. So that means anyone who buys a gift card with my sticker on it, they are not loading money onto that gift card. They are loading money onto my gift card. Yeah.
How can you tell which one has the sticker on? What's the sticker on?
So gift cards are not supposed to have stickers on them. The barcodes are engraved into the actual material.
Oh, now I see.
Yeah. So to your question, how to avoid that? Look at the gift card before you buy it. If it's in a little cardboard packaging, make sure it's not ripped. Make sure someone didn't try to pry it open. Look at the barcode. Make sure it's an actual barcode on the actual gift card and not a sticker on there. You see a sticker on that gift card, give it to an employee at that store. Okay, so going back to the tactics here. Again, emotion, urgency, isolation. Those are the scammers' tactics. Those are their strengths, our weaknesses. Those are our strengths and their weaknesses. Okay? Polar opposites. We have the ability to fight them. Yes, it is tricky, but we can do it. Stay calm. Very hard to do, but if you do, you're thinking clearly, you can spot the red flags. Take your time. You never have to do anything immediately for a stranger. Anyone on the phone, you don't have to give them anything you don't want to. Isolation. Paxton talked about this a lot. I've talked a lot about. I'm hammering this point home. Talk to someone. More than one mind together. Great. So, what to do when you know it's a scam? Whether it's during the actual conversation with the person, or if it's after the fact, after you've hung up the phone, closed the email, oh no, I've been robbed. Either way, it's always going to be the same response for you. Cease all contact. If it's during the phone call, hang up the phone. If it's email, don't answer the email. If it's text message, don't answer the text message. If it's telegram, don't answer the telegram. Call your bank. A lot of different scams have a lot of different damages and a lot of different vulnerabilities. I could sit there and list all of them for you right now, but that's going to be really complicated and you're never going to memorize them. It's my job to memorize them. So call the bank. Talk to your fraud person at the bank. And also call the police. So sometimes you will know that it's a scammer while you're talking to them. How many of you think you might get a little angry? Yeah, especially if it's a romance scam, right? Oh no, you broke my heart for no reason. That's a horrible, heartless thing to do, right? So you might want to yell at them. Don't do that. Remember, tactic number 1, emotion. It's their strength, your weakness, okay? There are a lot of YouTube videos where people actually make very entertaining videos where they are mocking the scammer. They are playing them. And it's, they're charming comedians and individuals, and it's all very funny and entertaining. Don't do that either. Cease all contact. This is for a very important reason, and I'm going to get real serious here. Scammers are going to be 2 kinds of people. Someone who is just a straight-up criminal. They're either greedy enough or desperate enough to not care about you and just want to steal from you. There's another kind of scammer, a victim of human trafficking. Okay? It's forced labor. These people do not want to scam you. They are confined in a building, put at a desk with a phone, a computer, and a script. And there's a guy behind them with a gun pointing at their head saying, steal from these people or I will hurt you. I don't know about you, but I kind of don't want to yell at those people. And I don't want to mock them. And I'm never going to know the difference which scammer I'm talking to. Cease all contact. Okay? It's the bad kind of scammer. You're never going to change their mind. If it's the human trafficking victim, you're not going to be able to help them on the phone. Cease all contact. Protect your money, protect your identity, protect your dignity. Cease all contact, call the police. Not everyone thinks it's worth calling a police. I beg to differ. Even if it doesn't lead to an arrest, it might not lead to an arrest this time. Enough people report, enough puzzle pieces come together. Maybe yours is the puzzle piece that catches a bad person who's just preying on everyone. And maybe you might be rescuing one of those victims. On that cheerful note, I'm going to take questions in just a moment. Just had a real quick pop quiz for you. Just one question, yes or no. Is it okay to buy gift cards for strangers? Just shout it out. I'm so happy. John, why did you do that? Okay. I've had too many people who have gone through that, so if you guys have learned no gift cards, I am just so overly thrilled. Tell everyone, by the way. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Wait.
I have a statement.
Okay. Make
mind?
your statement. Absolutely.
So we talked about a lot. Maybe some of it won't apply to you, but you probably know somebody who it would apply to. So spread the knowledge with your friends, family members, people at your church, people in your community, your neighbor, anybody willing to listen. Brad will tell them about gift cards if you make them call the bank, but you can tell them too. Make sure you tell everybody that can possibly benefit from it. The only way to stop these scammers is by raising awareness to everybody possible.
And just to go off of that, the folder's in front of you. A lot of scam information in there, protecting your identity, protecting your money. My business card is inside the cover there. I don't care if you're a Nutripoli Bank customer or not. If you need help, fraud anywhere is the enemy. I will talk to you if you need to talk to someone. Again, isolation, bad. Talking to someone, good. Yes, sir.
You talked about a sticker on a gift card.
Yeah.
Getting back the gift card.
I'm happy to do so.
Couldn't a
Yes.
scammer go in and just take pictures of the cards themselves and check to see if they've been bought?
They can do that. Back when gift cards were very early, they were actually doing that. Again, I worked in retail and I saw that a lot. There are PIN numbers as well, and they have little scratch-off things there, so those are actually covered. So you can take pictures, but you don't get the PIN. Yeah. Very good question. All right, I see a hand.
Someone told me that if someone's approaching you on the phone and you say, no, thank you, even if you say it sarcastically, like, no, thank you, you should not do that because they can get rid of the word no and use the thank you somehow for their voice, saying thank you. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, they're recording phone calls. They want to record your voice. Yeah, they can replay it back, pretending to be you calling the bank.
Or they say, can you hear me?
They're very tricky. Again, master manipulators.
So you should not say anything, just hang up.
If you're uncomfortable, hang up. Yeah. And again, verify. Paxton said it, I said it. I have had customers that have actually, I've had to call them to talk about something, but when they pick up the phone, they don't know it's actually me at Nutripoli Bank, an actual bank employee calling on business. So they say, hang on a minute, they hang up. A couple minutes later, they call me back. I am so happy when that happens because they're doing it right. They're being responsible with their safety, with their financial health and safety. Yes. Anything that you think is weird, it's okay to hang up. It's okay to independently verify who you're talking to.
Scott, why should I believe you? Because I've been told your name is Scott Brad.
See what you did here, darling?
Pass the test.
On a serious note, I consider myself to be somewhat computer savvy, but a little knowledge can be dangerous. You mentioned to us, look at the domain of the email. I'm sure I'm not the only one who doesn't know what you mean by that.
Okay. Did you want to cover that?
Domain is a fancy word. It's don't overthink it. So when you go to Amazon.com, the Amazon.com is the domain. Does that make sense? So it's www.amazon is the domain.com. So what's in the middle there is the domain. That's just the server that houses it. That's what's referred to as the domain.
So what would I see that would make me suspicious?
So there's this concept called domain spoofing, where they take something like Amazon, and again, they replace the O with a 0. They replace things that look similar, like 2 V's could be a W. You know, they get very creative to manipulate how the characters appear. Before it was actually, a lot of browsers have more modern security now. Back when this whole concept kind of started, they used to be able to use letters from foreign alphabets to actually, it looks exactly the same, but the computer's coding picks it up as a different character. So it takes you, instead of to Amazon.com, even if it looks exactly the same, it takes you to a completely different website. Most modern browsers, you know, Chrome, Firefox, anything like that, they've patched that away. You can't do that anymore.
Okay, thank you.
Just a note. They'll also sometimes do like, it'll say, rather than trying to change like specific letters, they can also say like Amazon-support.com or something like that, where they didn't make any of the letters wrong, but it looks legit, but it's not.
And sometimes on my email, I won't notice it. I'll have a website that I don't even notice got on there. I didn't ask to have it on there. There's one in particular, it's called Senior Discount. It just popped up. And it's there every day for a while, and they're offering all types of things. How do they get there when I don't accept it?
So you're talking about emails that you get from random companies?
Yeah. Well,
So-
email from anybody.
What can happen, and what really does happen, is let's say you signed up for something once, you signed up for Amazon or you signed up for Facebook. What'll happen is, unfortunately, those companies suffer some form of a data breach, and your email gets out there. So there's a lot of websites. Most websites make you sign up with an email. It's the same thing with your phone number. If you get a lot of spam phone calls, it's a good chance that one of the websites that you use, that you registered your phone number with, had some of that data leak out. Now it's all over the internet. There's entire repositories in the dark web, which is a whole another story, that store, millions and millions of emails, phone numbers. They try to build a profile on you so they can target specific people for specific reasons. So they might target me because I work at the bank. They might target Brad because he works with fraud. They build a profile about you and just store it and keep building on it.
I've had some experience while I had the grandparent thing. I was amazed how much it sounded like my grandson, and I did do the stupid thing of saying Jack, so that immediately the person knows the name. But it did occur to me, my grandson doesn't have a driver's license yet. He was supposed to be in an accident. And secondly, knowing your father, he'll tell you, get yourself out of this jam. But and I've also had people use my name asking others for gift cards for me, which is really an embarrassment to straighten out. But it was like people I went to college with and people I hadn't talked to in 10 years, and that was a mess. But the one thing was, and it was through a Facebook ad, it was for shoes company, San Antonio Shoe Company, and I've been to their factory in San Antonio. They have wonderful shoes, they're very expensive, and it was an ad that they were closing the store. They were 90% off. Now, that's quite a bargain. And, when you can buy $195 shoes for $19.50, that's just incredible. And I went through everything. Went through the ad, went through the pictures, and got the shoes I just bought, held them up. They were everything was alike. So I ordered shoes, and of course I gave them my credit card to order the shoes. But it stopped. It wouldn't go any further than taking my card. So then I used my husband's credit card. But nothing ever happened with that except that my sister-in-law lives in San Antonio, and she called the factory and said, no, we're not going out of business. We have been trying to stop this. We can't get a hold of who did it or whatever, but they were their legitimate pictures, their ads, their everything else. Well, then about 2 weeks later, I saw it was for purses, 90% off. They're going out of business or whatever. So really one needs to know. Nothing happened with our cards, but I'm really careful of a bargain.
Comes down to the two things. So the too good to be true. So 90% off, it would be great. Not likely. But if you ever would see something like that again, especially on social media, navigate directly to their website. So go to Google, type in the company name, navigate directly to their verified domain, and see if they would be advertising that on their domain as well. That's another second check you can do, or call the factory, use known information.
Yeah.
The thing that's happening to me right now, getting these messages that my Netflix account is about to be or has been terminated.
Yep, I don't have one.
And all I'm doing is I'm turning my TV on to see if I can still access Netflix. And I can, so I'm thinking, well, glad I didn't do anything. But is that bad? Is that
Yes.
allowing them to
They're
do
trying
something?
to get you to. They're trying to get you to click on probably a link in the email to sign in. They'll get your credentials for
Right.
your Netflix
What I
account.
mean, but am I checking my own TV?
Oh no,
Okay.
that's one of the best things to do. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I would do the same exact thing.
Okay.
No, that's smart.
The other thing that's happening is I'm getting a notice that there's something to be delivered, a package to be delivered at the
Yeah.
post office that's due postage. I need to pay money or they won't deliver it, they'll send it back. So I don't do anything.
That's the correct thing to do. I get those text messages all the time. And if you have an iPhone, you can delete the message and you can report it so it goes to your phone carrier and they can hopefully shut down that phone number sending you those messages.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes the email address is very tricky because in your phone you don't see the whole email address.
Absolutely.
And I've learned that you have to click on it to so you can see all the way through the end. And that way you can see, like, sometimes it says UK or whatever's from, it's not .com,
Right.
It's completely different. But you don't know until you see the whole thing. Yeah, I've learned that.
They said there was that, for a long time they were saying that a lot of the fraudulent things are coming from, the scams are coming from overseas, Nicaragua and whatnot. And the caution was to see if there were misspelled words. They used to be pretty bad. I mean, you could tell right away by some of the phrases that they use. But I don't see that much anymore. Have they been cracking down on that?
What has unfortunately happened, if you're familiar at all with artificial intelligence, I'm sure you've heard about it in the news. What you can do is you can give it a prompt, and if I were able to bring it up, I would show you. It's amazing, in a good way and in a bad way. So I can say, write Brad an email and tell him to have a great weekend. It'll put out a perfectly written, you can make it, say it, in Old English, make it sound like a Shakespeare poem. You can do anything like that. So scammers have adopted that model because they realized people were catching on and looking out for those grammar and syntax errors, and they're able to just generate these emails in 20 seconds.
Now let's be real serious. You told us to contact credit union police. Am I to trust the Macungie police? We're going to a whole different level. The guy who's trying to get my money works for the police department. How do you handle that?
I'm not touching that
Being
one.
silly. I'm being silly, but I'm also being somewhat serious. Because I'm sure that has happened.
The answer I would give is if it's any government agency at all. If they're calling you and saying you owe money, or they're pretending to be the state police, whoever they're pretending to be, call back the barracks at their known phone number from the internet. Because they'll be able to help you. They'll want to know that somebody's out there pretending to be them. They'll be able to address it.
Back to verifying everything. Google is your best friend when it comes to verification. Did you have your hand up there, Darlene?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about the reverse image lookup.
Yes.
That's actually something that I didn't know existed.
Yes.
Is that, do we do a Google search to find a website to utilize that, or is there an app?
Yeah,
How does
I
that
think Google itself provides that service.
Okay.
Is it an app or is it a what?
Google has it built right in, and so what's happened when I've used it is I think you can go to Google Images. So if you just go to Google, click on Images,
Okay.
there's actually an option under that section to do a reverse search. And so what happens then is you take the photo, so if you saved it from Facebook or saved it from somebody sending it to you, whatever the case may be, you can essentially upload that picture to Google. It'll scan the web and find matching results matching that image. And then it'll bring up and show you all the web pages that are associated with it.
That's amazing.
So it's kind of like phone,
Could you speak louder?
phone number reverse also.
Pretty much, exactly. Yeah, it's like a phone number reverse,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think on certain sites you can also just right-click on an image, and one of the options in the drop-down says search Google for this image.
A lot of browsers have built that into the browser now that if you right-click on it, you can actually say search the web for this image.
What browser would that be? Do you know?
I use Google Chrome, so
Okay, okay.
it's Google's browser, so they
Okay.
have it built
Build it
in.
in.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
And I will verify that it is easy to do. My son does this. He'll post, my name's Joe Smith, and he'll take a picture from anywhere, and this is Joe Smith. That's not my son, but he's doing it to be silly. But it shows how easy it is to do. And if you don't know how to check it, it's like, wow, I don't remember that Joe Smith being in my class. Yeah, so good.
Does that answer your question a little more about how that works then, Darlene? Okay, very cool. Yeah. But yeah, especially when it comes to technology stuff, yeah, talk to the younger generation. YouTube is actually really cool when it comes to explaining technologies. You can essentially watch someone do it step by step. Some people are really good at explaining it in a very easy to understand format. Yo.
How often do you see check wash?
More often than I'd like. But it's very weird. Checks from this area end up on the other side of the country and vice versa. It's it's been a problem. It's happening all over the place.
No, I use a specific pen for writing checks.
What kind of pen do you use, Len?
Sigma,
Sigma? Is it like a gel pen?
Sigma. It's supposed to be a type of pen with a type of ink that cannot be washed.
Yes.
Is
So
that correct?
yeah, so
That's
it's
good?
like a gel ink. Usually black ink is better.
Yes,
And
yes.
if it's a gel,
Yeah.
it's not perfect,
Uh-huh.
but it's the best. It's
Oh.
the best option that you have.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
because even if they try to wash it, which again, wonders of chemistry,
Yes.
it either wouldn't get rid of it completely or it might smear it a little bit.
Oh,
And that's the benefit of the pen that you were using.
okay.
What is the name of that pen?
Sigma.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing you.
SIGNO.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
that's the, it's right on the little clip of the pen.
Then you
It's
can get
spelled
that
right in
anywhere.
there, Sigma. Yeah.
Staples?
Excuse me, those checks that they're altering, how do they know how much is in the account? Are they guessing?
They don't always know.
Pardon?
They don't always know.
It's a guess. And especially when you're targeting a business, you can assume that they might have more money than the average individual, but it is just a pure guess.
So the bank, wouldn't they notify the person that their check is bouncing? How quickly does that happen?
So
You know, I read a check out for $10, they put down 1,000. I only have 500 in the account. Does the bank call me and say your check bounced?
yeah, I mean,
How quickly does that happen?
sometimes it happens too fast for a bank to catch it. But again, it depends on which, was it Wells Fargo or Bank of America or Mutual Bank, where it was done. If someone takes a Wells Fargo check to Wells Fargo, the person can actually see if the funds are there. But again, the information is sent across the country, those checks, whether it's an altered check or if it's actually physically mailed or if it's just sold on the black market, the information. So,
Somebody goes in the bank with a check and the cashier notices that they don't have the money in their account. They've got the person right there that's trying to cash the check.
mhm.
Yet they call the cops or verify the people's account or whatever.
If there's no money in the accounts, then at the very least, they don't cash the check. But sometimes they don't always know that it's a bad guy trying to commit fraud, is the thing. And that's another thing about check washing and check fraud. There are organized crime rings pulling this off. They are going online advertising, hey, do you look like this person? We need someone to pretend to be them to cash a check. They are recruiting people to go into the bank to cash checks.
And Brad, I mean, that is why when you come in and open an account at those banks, they ask for your picture ID, because the tellers should be checking if they don't know you, that you are the person who owns that account.
Yes.
So that's another tool that we use to make sure, whoever's trying to cash the check is who they say they are.
Just like you guys are supposed to verify the phone number that you're talking to, like, banks verify the identity of the people that we're doing transactions with. Yeah.
Please tell me that check manufacturers are working on something that can't be washed.
I mean, they're always working on that, but it's kind of an arms race. If they make a better check, then the bad guys are going to make a better check washing method. Some inks are better than others, some washing methods are better than others, but that's the battle going on right now.
It all comes down to this is their full-time job, and there's so much money to be made from doing it. It's the same thing we see in cybersecurity, where there's a bunch of really brilliant companies, but they struggle to stay ahead of, people sitting in a room just thinking and, working on their computer. It's just constantly a back and forth, Tom and Jerry trying to outsmart each other.
we've had our mail stolen. During the pandemic, somebody came down the road and stole the whole way down Brookside Road and so on. There were some checks in there, but they were to the church and that sort of thing. Do you cancel the check, or do you just take your chances, or if you know your mail was stolen? I mean, we found our ballots in the field. They didn't want those political ballots.
Yeah, if you know that your checks are stolen, contact the bank, and again, contact the police. Crime was committed against you, you should file a report.
We did.
Okay.
State police did.
Yeah, but yeah, if someone steals your checks, your account is compromised, your funds are compromised. So tell the
Are
bank
you
that.
responsible for that if someone steals your?
So again, it goes back to which bank cashed the check.
I thank you for that.
Oh, okay.
We never heard anything about the checks. The church never got the money, so.
Okay, and there was no fraud on it? You just know that they were canceled?
I just know they were taken and they were never attempted to cash it.
Okay,
And they were
and you
cashed.
called us and we closed the accounts?
No, I think we didn't do anything.
In a case like that, we would definitely recommend closing the account and just getting a new one set up,
That's
just
the
because.
safest option.
Yeah.
Now, you told us about all these problems and all these scams, and the information is great. Do you ever hear of any good results? Is there any progress being made as far as trying to stop some of the scams? Or do they just keep growing?
The problem with a lot of scams is they're really hard to track, and a lot of them take place from a foreign country. So that's why it comes down to filing police reports, because eventually, once enough police reports are filed, those call centers get raided. It takes years sometimes, but there's videos of an operation, a call center operation that's been in business for 10 years and stolen millions of dollars, finally getting their doors kicked in and everybody getting arrested. It's just following through with the police and making sure you create that paper trail all the way back to the scammer.
When you go home tonight, if you go on Google and just Google scammer convicted, you'll see a lot of news stories come up, and it goes back to what Paxton and Brad have been talking about. The feds take all these bits of information and assemble a story. We actually have one of our bank friends has a son or daughter who's in the federal government and works with reports that we file. It all matters. So yeah, just Google scammers convicted, you'll feel a little bit better. But it is, it's like whack-a-mole. You whack one and two more pop up.
All good questions. Any other thoughts, comments, questions? I see a hand here.
No.
No? Okay.
I just want to say good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sitting here listening to all this and I'm thinking, yeah, all this new technology is wonderful. I'm beginning to think it's not. Go back to the old days.
It's a bit of a double-edged sword there.
So you have to do a little more thinking, that's all.
At least nowadays, you can control your lights with your voice. So there is a plus side.
That is pretty cool.
All right.
Well, it's after 7. I mean, if you guys have any other questions, you can do that. You can come on up and talk to us individually. I'd be happy to talk to you. If not, sure, there's still food and drink if you want to get something. Or, just get home safely tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.